பெற்ற தமிழ் ராமசுவாமி பெரியோன் வாழ்க. நன்றி.
Thank you, sir. A highly resourceful person who plays with words, very simple and unassuming, is Dr. S. Karthik Kumar, Associate Professor of English, Deputy Director of IQAC, and one of the organizing secretary of this workshop. Sir will now welcome the gathering. Sir, please.
Respected Director, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Annamalai University. My dear friends, Deputy Directors, IQAC. My friends, joint secretaries of the one-day international workshop. Distinguished resource persons for the day, Professor Saji Krishna from Tanzania, and Sister Candy D. Kunha from Vijayawada, India, and participants from across the nation. Wish you all a very pleasant evening. The 21st is not okay. Sorry, the 21st century is for those who possess skills. Knowledge for knowledge may be an attractive statement, but it does not reflect the contemporary reality. Every student and researcher is expected to possess essential as well as additional skills in order to find a suitable career for himself or herself. Hence, this one-day workshop on essential skills for career building and development. And I'm here entrusted with the delightful duty to welcome each one of you. I'm bound to accord a very cordial welcome to the Director of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Annamalai University, Dr. S. Arivudai Nambi, to this workshop. Though he is not physically present with us, he is present with us virtually. It's my pleasure to extend a very sincere and warm welcome to the learned resource persons, Dr. Saji Krishna from Tanzania and Dr. Sister D. Candy Kunha from Vijayawada. Right from their acceptance to our invitation, they have been lending enormous support and cooperation to all our requests, and their support and cooperation is simply incredible. And I take this opportunity to welcome both the resource persons. I'm happy to note that the resource person for the session 1, Professor Saji Krishna, is an illustrious alumnus of the Department of English, Annamalai University. And he has been successful in training many candidates towards international competitive examinations like TOEFL and IELTS. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Professor Saji Krishna as the resource person for the one-day international workshop today. Thank you, Saji, and hearty welcome to you. Dr. Sister Candy D. Kunha is also associated with the Department of English, and she has been a frequent guest to the department as examiner as well as subject expert. And I take delight in welcoming Sister to the international workshop. It's a very hectic day for the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University, for a team of experts from ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, is visiting the university for 3 days. Despite their busy schedule, the director, IQAC, as well as the deputy directors of IQAC are able to divide their time as well as energy between the ICAR visit and the IQAC workshop. I take this opportunity to accord a very cordial welcome to the deputy directors, organizing secretaries of the one-day international workshop. in the absence of in the deputy directors come organizing secretaries of the workshop, the responsibility of running the workshop rests on three brave women who happen to be the joint secretaries of the international workshop. And it's my pleasant duty to extend a very hearty and sincere welcome to the joint secretaries of the international workshop who are going to run the international event very successfully. Dr. K. Praveena, Assistant Professor of Library and Information Science. Dr. J. Tamil Selvi, Associate Professor of Business Administration, and Dr. K. Sai Leela, Assistant Professor of Education. It's also my sincere and pleasant duty to welcome each and every participant from across the nation. Dear participants, the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University is committed to enhance the skills of the students, and we do not want to confine to the students of our campus alone, and we want to help the students across the nation. Hence, we come up with so many programs, and with your earnest support and cooperation, we are sure that we will still come up with many more programs in the days to come. Once again, it's my pleasant duty to welcome each one of you. In a while from now, the session 1 is about to begin, and I take this opportunity to extend a hearty welcome to every one of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik Kumar sir, for the nice welcome address. Now we have with us Mr. Saji Krishna. A brief intro to him. He is actually MA English from Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, and MA English, double MA English, one from Kottayam and another from Annamalai University, MSW from Annamalai University. He has passed his UGC NET, and he is MPhil in English from Annamalai University, Tamil, from Tamil Nadu, and PGCTE from EFLU, Hyderabad, and PGTTE from EFLU, Hyderabad, and presently is doing his PhD. He has worked in several reputed institutions like College of Applied Science, Chuttipara in Kerala, Sherman Arts and Science College, Erumalai, Kerala, Government Arts and Science College, Elanthu, KL University, Vijayawada, and presently is working as a lecturer in the Department of Linguistics from Sumait University, Zanzibar, Tanzania. He has authored 5 books titled Easy Spoken English, How to Get a 7+1 in ELTS, Common Errors in English, Reminiscence, Punji Kavidagal, and presented research papers in both national and international conferences. He has conducted webinars related to English language teaching. He has taken up projects for English for Global Communications, Styles and Techniques, underwent various training programs conducted by the British Council and IDP Australia. Such a personality is there to handle this session. He'll be handling the session on IELTS, a gateway for your dreams abroad. On behalf of the organizing committee, a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much.
The platform is yours, sir.
Okay, it is my pleasure to be here along with you. And first, let me share my gratitude for listening to that wonderful prayer. It was actually rejuvenating and refreshing. And thank you for the, professor who has recited that prayer in a nice way. It was very nice to hear. Okay, so this is Saji Krishna Pillai from Zanzibar, Tanzania. And I think, am I audible to you? If you have any technical problems, please let me know, because this is a virtual session.
No, sir, no, sir.
So I may keep on talking, and if you do not hear me properly, it may be difficult. So first, let me confirm. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are
sir.
audible, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so as Karthik sir rightly pointed out, mere academic knowledge is not enough to come up successful in life. And language skill is one of the essential skills that you must possess to come up with flying colors in your life. And nowadays, the globe has shrunk. It is not just in India. We have to compete with the whole world. And opportunities are everywhere across the globe. So that is the reason why many people from India go abroad. They don't just go abroad for sightseeing, they go abroad for higher education, they go abroad for work, they go abroad and settle there. So it is a dream for many people to go and settle in well-settled European countries. So one of the obstacles when you look at these dreams is passing international language proficiency test. And IELTS is one of them. And you know that, there are many other tests like TOEFL, PET, OET, etc. But IELTS is the most popular English proficiency test. More than 11,000 organizations across the globe recognize and trust IELTS. Not to say that, all the major English-speaking countries accept IELTS. If you want to go for higher studies, or if you want to go for work, or if you want to permanently settle in those countries like Canada, USA, Australia, New Zealand, in these countries, you have to pass, or you have to get the required score of IELTS. Then, your dream will be successful. Not only in English-speaking countries, but also in many countries where English is an important second language, they also accept and recognize IELTS. Countries like Malaysia and 140 countries recognize and trust IELTS. So this is a very popular test, and once you have adequate proficiency in English, your dreams, if you wish to go abroad in these countries, if you have a good proficiency in English, your dreams will come true. So this is what I have to tell you as an introduction about IELTS, and let us dive deep into IELTS. And I know that Indians are very fond of English. English for Indians is very important. It is not just because, we were ruled by the Britishers, but many other reasons. English has its grip on the Indian society. At any stage of life, whether you are a student or if you are not a student, you have to polish your English once in your lifetime. That is why you find a lot of IELTS training centers and other, spoken English training centers across India. Okay, so now let us begin with IELTS. What is IELTS? IELTS means International English Language Testing System. I say it once again, International English Language Testing System. So it tests in international way how good you are at English. You understand? So if your proficiency level is good at English, then the IELTS measure your proficiency level by assessing your listening skills, your reading skills, your writing skills, and your speaking skills. These are the 4 pillars of language, right? Listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So all these skills are tested in IELTS. That means how well you listen to English, how well you read English, how well you write English, and how well you speak English. Okay, and then you will be awarded a score out of 9, depending upon your performance on each subtest. And then they take an overall band score and they award you that this is the final score for your IELTS. For example, if you get 7 for listening, 7 for reading, 7 for writing, and 7 for speaking, then they take the average. So here the average obviously will be 7. So you get 7 for each subtest, and your overall band score also will be 7. And you can take the tests across India and across the globe, as I have already told you. And now, you can take the test on a computer, or you can take the test in a traditional way using pen and paper. If you take the test on computer, you get the results in 3-4 days. And if you take the test on paper and pen, you get the results in 13 days time. Okay, so now let us see how IELTS assesses your listening skills. So listening, you will be provided with a question booklet, and at the same time, you have to listen to a recorded conversation. So I repeat, you will be provided with a question booklet, and then you will have to listen to a recorded conversation. So for 30 minutes, you have to listen to this recorded conversation and answer all the 40 questions in the booklet. It's a simultaneous process. That means you have to listen to the conversation and you have to write the answers at the same time. It's a difficult task sometimes, because you are not going to listen Indian English here. You know that in India we have Mallu English, we have Tamil English, we have Gujarati English, we have Punjabi English. English is varying across the states in India, but here you have to listen to native English speech, maybe American, maybe UK, maybe New Zealand, a variety of accent you may listen to. So you have to listen to and understand native English speech. So this is what they test. And how they test it. See, listening is divided into 4 sections. Listening is divided into 4 sections. So let me share my screen. I think I have prepared slides for you. I think it will be better if I share my screen, and then you can see the screen, and then you may have a better understanding of the text. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So IELTS, a gateway for your dreams abroad. Okay, so it is a testing of the ability to listen to and understand major varieties of English, native English spoken across the world. And as I told you, the basic information, as I told you, 30 minutes, you have to listen to recorded conversation, and then you have to transfer the answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet. That means you are writing the answers in the question booklet first, and then you have to transfer the answers to an additional answer sheet. So 30 plus 10, you will get 40 minutes in total. So you have to answer 40 questions based on the listening, and then additional 10 minutes you get to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet. And it is a simultaneous process. Simultaneous process means you have to do these things at the same time. Okay. The first section in the IELTS is a dialogue. Here you listen to 2 people talking to each other. It can be a conversation between a receptionist and a client, or it can be between a teacher and a student, or a doctor and a patient. So 2 people are talking to each other in the first section. As I told you that there are 4 sections in the listening test. The first section is a dialogue. There you hear 2 people speaking each other. Okay. And the second section is a monologue. As you know, monologue means 1. So monologue means 1 person's speech. And again, you have the third section, again, dialogue, and the fourth section is a monologue. So dialogue, monologue, dialogue, and monologue. So by the end of 40 minutes, you will complete it listening to all these dialogue, monologue, and you must have completed 40 answers by this time. So this is the IELTS listening test in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, you can just type in your chat box. I can see it and I can respond immediately. Okay. And, you will find varieties of questions in the IELTS test, like multiple choices, fill in the blanks, labeling a map or diagram, short answer questions, etc. So these are the variety of questions that you can come across in the listening test. And now I would like to give you the tips. So as I've been teaching IELTS for quite a long time, so you can find many problems, many questions that arise from the student side. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is that, some of you might be familiar with IELTS. So you have to read the instructions very carefully. So many students feel that not reading the instructions would save them much valuable time. No, because if you do not read the instructions, sometimes instructions will be different from the usual pattern that you have practiced in your institutions or training centers or in your practice materials. So you may read the first 2-3 words and then think that the instructions are the same. But sometimes the instructions may be different. So you have to read the instructions very carefully. And sometimes, the number of words, you might write 1 word, or you might write 2 words, or you might write 3 words. And if you write 2 words instead of 1 word, and if this instruction say just to write 1 word, you will be penalized for that. So it is very important to read the instructions carefully. And tip 2, as you listen to the recorded conversation, you cannot rewind or re-listen to any conversation. So it is listened, you listen to it only just once. So if you stick to a particular question, so you have the question booklet in your hand, and if you are with question number 2 and you are listening to that question 2 all the time, and the answer is already said in the conversation, so you may not be able to understand the answer. So you may stick to that question until that section is over, and then you realize that you missed all the questions in that section. So this is a great tragedy, because see, there may be 5 questions in a particular subsections, and you are in question number 2 and you haven't listened the answer, and by the time all the 5 answers are gone. So this is a great problem. So you have to be very careful about it. So do not stick to a particular question for a long time. So how can you avoid it? You can avoid it by reading all the questions of a subsection, maybe like 5 questions or maybe 7 questions. It varies from time to time. So have an understanding of all the questions in a particular section and aware of the topic, what the speakers are talking to. So if you are aware of the conversation, you can understand even if you haven't got the answer for a particular question. You can understand, okay, now they are talking, or now they have said the answers for the 3rd question. So let me write that. Let me skip question number 2 and let me write the answer for question number 3. So this is very important. And another thing is that you have to use the correct part of speech. Sometimes, what you listen in the conversation, the exact word may not fit with the question in the question booklet. So if you write the same word as you listen in the question booklet, your answer may go wrong. So it is very important that you have to match whatever answer you write with the remaining part of the question. For example, here, you listen. Angelina saying, I was very tired, so I couldn't go to work. This is what you listen in the conversation. Okay, I was very tired, so I couldn't go to work. So in the question booklet, you find the question, Angelina's dash prevented her from going for work. So here, what would be the answer? Can somebody chat? Can somebody text me the answer? Don't look at the answer, and the answer is already given there, but just look at until going for work and try to give me the answer. Can somebody text? Any student, please? Hello? Excuse me? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can it be lethargy or fatigue?
Sorry?
Sir, can it be lethargy or fatigue?
No. See, Angelina's dash prevented her from going for work, and you hear or you listen that it is tired. She was tired and she couldn't go to work. So what would your answer? The question is Angelina's dash prevented her from going for work. You can't use the word lethargy because we have the word here. You cannot use a synonym for that word, but you have to use the same word, but you have to change the part of speech. Because here, if you write Angelina's tired prevented her from going for work, because that is what you heard in the conversation. So you have to change it to, can somebody tell me?
Tiredness.
Very good. You know, Angelina's tiredness prevented her from going for work. If you change tired to tiredness, then that answer will fit to the question. Angelina's tiredness prevented her from going to work. And if you write tired, you think that you wrote the right answer, but you will be penalized for that. Okay, so can I play a conversation? If you can read all these questions, I'll play a conversation for you and try to answer these questions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So here, section 1, questions 1 to 10, questions 1 to 4, complete the notes below. Write no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. And notes on social program, example will be given. So if every, the section begins with an example here. Here the example, number of trips per month, the answer is 5. And then the questions come like visit places which have, first one is given historical interest. Second one you have to find out, good dash. And here the question number 2 also have to find out. So 3 answers are given, are there. First one is given for you and the other 2 you have to find out. And question number 3, it is special trips organized for groups of dash, that you have to find out. And also departure time is given, return time is given, and question number says you have to find out sign name on the dash 3 days in advance. This is 3 days. This is question number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will find 4 questions, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to play this conversation for you. Just try to find out the answers. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
We are not able to hear anything, sir.
So you're not able to listen to anything?
Yes, sir.
Is it the case to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. What's wrong with this?
Sir, there is a mute symbol.
Sorry?
There is a mute symbol in the speaker icon.
Okay.
Video.
Okay, let me just try to check it out for a moment, please.
Sir, how can we help, sir?
Can you listen now?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we are able to listen to you, but not the audio.
Can you listen now?
Yes.
So you are audible to us, but not audio.
Okay. I mean, so some technical errors. I'm very sorry about it. So I thought you would be able to listen to it. I'm very sorry about it. Some technical issues. So I think we have to skip that session. So very sorry about it. So I don't know why you cannot listen to it. Okay, let's stop it.
Okay, sir.
Sir, you please share the screen, sir, so that we can guide you. If
Sorry?
possible. Share your screen, sir.
Yeah. I'm sharing.
You stop the presentation and share the screen of that audio file.
Okay,
so
definitely.
that we can try to find any issues.
Definitely.
Actually, audio file attached
Oh,
screen, which is not.
it is not in. Okay.
So okay. I let me share the screen again. Very good. So can you see the screen now?
அது include audio சொல்லி இருக்கும்.
Okay, I think very sorry about it because we are not able to listen. You're not able to listen to it. So I'm very sorry about it. So this is how the listening quite naturally happens. So you will be played a conversation and you will be provided with a question booklet and you have to listen to the conversation and you have to write the answers. Or some other time you may be able to do this thing. Okay, now we'll come back to the business and so this is listening, and if you have any question with listening, either you can jot down your questions now and let us wait until we finish all our session and then you can ask me questions. Okay, this is about listening. So the thing that you have to understand that you have to do a lot of practice, because you're going to listen to native English. So if you're not familiar with native English speaking, you may not get that because they speak really very fast. And when they speak, they speak in a very natural way. They shorten and they weaken the words. And sometimes we are not very familiar with because our phonology is different from the way English people speak. And many a time the pronunciation of words also are very different. Okay, and the word stress. So we may say academic, and they may say academic. We may say hotel. The right pronunciation for the native speakers it is hotel. And examination. So word stress change. So many words. Sometimes we're not very familiar with native speech. You may not understand the word. So listen to a lot of English. You listen to BBC News. You listen to CNN, and whatever way possible, listen to good English. And this is the way how you can be very familiar with the listening test. Okay, so this is listening. And I tell you, in IELTS, there are two modules, academic module and general module. There are not much difference between academic and general module. The only difference is that reading and writing slightly differ. And here I'm focusing more on academic. Okay, so this is listening is the same for both academic and general module. Okay, now we will deal with IELTS reading, and hopefully you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Okay, IELTS reading. So in the academic module reading, there are 3 reading passages and each consisting of 13 questions. That is, there are 3 reading passages and each consists of 13 questions. And the total number of questions, sorry, is 40. Like listening, you have 40 questions in the reading also. And the first passage is difficult, and the second passage is not easy, but more difficult. And the third passage will be the most difficult one. So the point is the difficulty increases through the passages. You understand? And these passages are articles taken from magazines, newspapers, and other academic journals. So 3 reading passages, 40 questions, and you'll be getting 60 minutes, that is 1 hour to answer all the 40 questions. And remember one thing here, you do not get the 10 minutes extra that you got in the listening. In listening, 30 plus 10, that means you first write the answers in the question booklet and later you transfer the answers to an answer sheet. But in the case of reading, no extra time. Within the stipulated time, that is 60 minutes, you must write all the answers in the answer sheet itself. So there is no time. And as there is 60 minutes time, you will be getting 20 minutes each for each reading passage. So by 20 minutes, you must finish 1 passage. And many times students have this problem, shall we read the questions or the passage first? And personally, I would say that it is your personal choice. And sometimes it depends upon the nature of questions. For example, if it is like a specific information such as a person's name, place name, or date, reading the questions first would save you much time. That means, you read the questions and you have the questions in your mind. And then, when you read the passages, you can simply underline the answers, you get the answers very fast. And some of the time, when the difficulty increases, this may not work. You have to understand the passage. For example, questions like yes, no, not given questions, you have to understand the passage in a very comprehensive way. And if you do not understand, then your answers may go wrong. So you have to practice it, and depending upon the nature of questions, you can change whether to read the question first or the passage first. And as I told you, there are 40 questions and 3 passages, and all the questions follow any order. Yeah. For a particular section, that means maybe for first 5 questions, maybe labeling a diagram, that may be the question. So for that particular section, the questions follow a order. But again, when you start another section, you may find the answers anywhere. That means, you have to start from the beginning. So for a particular section, you will find the answers in a particular order. That means if you find the first answer, the second answer will not be before it, but only after that. And reading is not that easy. For some students, reading is very difficult because we lack reading skills, especially when we have mobile phones now. We don't read. We just simply use WhatsApp and Facebook, and our reading habit is diminishing. But here in the IELTS test, it is very important. So you have to orientate. So you have to concentrate much to get the right answer. And for concentration, you have to orientate. And what is orientation? You have to be very tied up with the reading passages. There is no distraction. That means you are all into that reading passage. And for that, what you can do, read the title, subtitles, and if there are any pictures associated with them, look at them. So titles, subtitles, and pictures, you look at them, and then you have an understanding of what the passage is all about. So you have made your relationship with the reading passage, and then nothing can distract you. Then you read the questions and you know where the answers are located. And if there is a picture, as you know, a picture worth 1,000 words. If you look at the picture, you understand. If there is a picture of some dolphins, you can understand the article is related to dolphins and sea life in general. And sometimes, you may find difficult words. Don't worry about it. Nobody knows all the words in an article. So you can guess the meaning of the words from the context, and knowing the meaning of all the words is not at all important. Knowing the meaning of the passage or a sentence or a paragraph is more important than knowing the meaning of each word in a sentence. You understand? So sometimes there may be a glossary at the end, some difficult words may be explained. So if you look at it, you can look at the glossary also, so that you can understand the meaning of those words. And there are important reading skills like skimming and scanning, which would be very useful for you when you do the reading passage, because time management is very important in reading. If you read and read and read and read and you find answers, it's okay, but you have to do it all in a matter of 60 minutes time. So you cannot just dilly-dally with the time. So you have to know different types of reading skills. The major reading skills that you have to be aware of is skimming and scanning. So what is skimming? Skimming is like, you don't have time, but you just want to read it. You want to get an overall idea about, whatever the writer is. So for example, you are busy in the early morning, you have to go to your university or college or your workplace, and you have a cup of tea with you, and you sit back in your chair and you have the newspaper, but you don't have enough time to read every sentence in the newspaper. So what you do? So you just, your eyes will go like in a zigzag way, right here and there. And when you find some interesting news, oh, there's something happened in Chidambaram. Okay, you look at that place alone, and it was an accident. Then you will look for any people injured. In that way, you are selecting whatever you want. That means you get an overall idea about everything, and you can focus on any important part that you want to get the details for. So this is skimming. Another example that I would like to say, just before the examination, that tomorrow you have the examination, and today you cannot read each and every sentence of your text, right? What you do, you take the textbook and just turn the pages, and if you find something important, you just concentrate that, and again you turn the pages, and you do like that. You won't read from the first page to the last page in a detailed manner. You can't do that just before the examination. So here, skimming can be useful. So in the IELTS also, you have to skim your reading passages because time management. So you can skim the passages to locate the answers and to get an overall idea of the passage. So this is skimming in a nutshell. Now let us see what is scanning. Scanning, it is done to locate a specific item such as a place name, person's name, or dates. Sometimes you are supposed to find out very specific information, like a person's name or a place name or a date for that matter, and they will be distinguished or differentiated easily from the rest of the passage, because if it is a proper noun, it starts with a capital letter, right? If it is Chidambaram, you start with Chidambaram with a capital C. So you can easily distinguish or locate Chidambaram very fast, where Lord Nataraja temple is situated. Okay, that is the question. So obviously you can guess the answer, it's a place name. So then you go and you find Chidambaram, C capital, you can easily locate that. And sometimes numbers, for example, dates, and dates are numbers. So that also can be easily differentiated from the rest of the passage. So you can easily scan for them. So that is scanning. So scanning is done, when you, for example, when you search for your results. Okay, you know your registration number and all the results are there in notice board. You won't read from the very beginning to the very end, right? You are just focusing only to your results. So you will just find out your marks or your results. So that is scanning. Or it's like finding out a phone number from a directory. You won't read from every page, but you select that particular page and then locate your friend's number, and then you pick that friend's telephone number. So this is scanning. And in the IELTS, you can do this scanning to find out the very specific information like a person's names or a place name or date. So skimming and scanning, you have to do alternatively. Okay. For example, here, I have come up with some questions here, but as we don't have enough time, just read the first question. I will read it out for you. The first column, you can see year 1845, all the years are given, and in the second column, events are given, and then third column, events by surnames are given. So here, we will do only the first question. We can't read all these questions because of the constraints of time. So inventors by surname, event. So here, the first question is, you have to find out the patent of telegraph. Who got the patent of telegraph in the year 1845? So remember, 1845 is the keyword here because you can easily locate 1845. Now I'm going to display the screen. You have to find out the answer for this question. So your question is, who got the patent of telegraph in the year 1845? The time may be 5 seconds. Okay, find out. Read this passage and find out. And tell me the answer. Oh, very good. I have got the answers here. Samuel Moore. Somebody has written Samuel Moore. Spelling mistakes. Cook and. The answer is not complete. Okay, very fast. Some more answers. I'm waiting for the right answer. Good. Carry on. You will get the answer. Be very careful, this IELTS is sometimes very tricky. William Cook and Charles. That is very close, but not the answer. Oh my God, William Cook. No. You are half correct, but for half correction, there is no mark for it. You are completely, you will not get any mark for that. Come on, you will get it. William Cook, Charles Wheatstone. William Cook and Charles Wheatstone, we are very close, but the answer is wrong. Cook and Charles, again, you're trying, but see, you are supposed to write the surnames only. This is the tricky part here. This is the tricky part here. William Cook and Charles Wheatstone, the answer is right, but the problem is that the instructions tell you, listen here very carefully. See. Inventors by surname. Here, look, surname here. So here, see here, inventors by their surnames you have to write. And if you write the full name, you will be penalized for that. So this is the tricky part here. You will be very eager to write the answers. Be very fast. You read it and answer. Write the answers, but your answers may go wrong because you haven't read the instructions carefully. That's why I tell you, you must read the instructions very carefully. Here, I will tell you the answer now. Some of you very close to the answer. Arrival system developed by William Cook and Charles Wheatstone. So here, William Cook, the surname is Cook, and Charles Wheatstone, the surname is Wheatstone. So the answer is Cook and Wheatstone. Oh, many of them have become very close, but unfortunately, the right answer is Cook and Wheatstone. Okay, so that is why I told you, read the instructions very carefully. Okay, here, another important, very tricky question which demands your grammatical knowledge in English. So here, I have taken this from general module. Here, snake bites, warning and precautions. So here the question is, pick snake bite warning or warnings from the list. So you will find warning and precautions. Warning, you know, something that you do after the snake bites, and precautions, that means, you know, how you can avoid snake bites. So here you find 4 points here. Like, what are the points? Do not try to catch the snake. Do not walk barefoot. Do not try to feed a snake. Keep your house premises, sorry for the spelling mistake, neat and clean, and tie about the bitten area with a piece of cloth. So what would be here the snake bite warning from the list? You have to tell me one. I have given you 5 options, and out of these 5 options, you have to pick up snake bite warnings. That means snake bites, what you do in order to, if you are bitten by a snake, not before that, not precautions. So please chat, text me. Okay, 3, 5, 3 and 5. Any other answers? 3 and 5. Any other answers? Okay, let's see. Any other answers? 2, it must be bare feet. Okay, let's see. Number 1, 1 and 3. Okay, 4, 5, 1 and 3, 1. Okay, good. You are reading it. Okay, nice. So let us discuss the answer. So let us hear. Do not try to catch the snake. Here, you know, the tricky part is here. Do not try to catch the snake. Look at the article used here. Do not try to catch the snake. Why the definite article the is used here? Do not try to catch the snake. You know, when you use the definite article, you are talking to a particular person. Here it is snake, a particular snake. And why the snake becomes very particular here? Do not try to catch snake because the snake has already bitten you. That is why the definite article the is used there. So the sentence can be read as, do not try to catch the snake which has already bitten you. So it is not a precaution, it becomes warning. So number 1 is a warning. It's not a precaution. And number 2, do not walk barefoot. It is a precaution. And do not try to feed a snake. A snake here, do not try to feed a snake, any snake. So that will come under precaution. And keep your houses premises neat and clean. That also precaution. And tie about the bitten area with a piece of cloth. That is also 1. So 1 and 5 are the right answers. And many times you see that do not try to catch a snake. You think that, you know, don't try to catch snakes in general. But here, the definite article made the answers a bit tricky, and you may not get the answer because you have to read it as, or you have to understand it as, do not try to catch the snake which has already bitten you. I think it is clear now. Okay, now let's move to writing class. So we have finished listening and we have finished writing, and we have around 15 minutes more. Okay, now let us see what is writing. In IELTS writing, you have 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. In both academic and general module, writing task 2 is same. That means you have to write an essay for at least 250 words. And writing task 1, you have write at least 150 words. So in academic, it is a pictorial representation like a pie chart or a graph or something like that will come under. For you have to find out the major fluctuations or deviations or major trends of the graph that is shown to you. And in the general module, it is a letter explaining a situation or requesting something or something like that. So letter writing in general module, a pictorial representation in academic module. But writing task 2 is more or less the same for both academic and general module. So writing essay or a detailed write-up is not that easy to get a very good band score. So many times, you need to get a score of 7. So getting a 7 is not that easy, and it is not difficult also, provided you show that you have the adequate skills in writing. So let us see how we can manage the task 2. Write at least 250 words in task 2. You will be penalized if you write few words. So that is very important. If you write 240 words, 230 words, no, you have to write at least 250 words, and it can go up to 300. It doesn't matter. But remember, if you write more, there is no additional mark for it. Class, you may make grammatical mistakes there. So it is always better to limit to 250 words, 260 words, or 270 words. So don't go beyond that. And or you can go to a maximum of 300 words. And writing task 2 is almost 2/3 of your writing or writing marks. So writing task 2 is more important than writing task 1. And you have to write 250 words. So my advice is to give it 40 minutes. Okay, so let us see what's an essay as such. If you know what's an essay, it won't be difficult for you to write the IELTS essays because they are of general interest. Whatever you read, they are all of general. Whether you read a passage, it won't contain any jargon as such, scientific words. Every common man must understand what you read, and for essays also the same. You will not be asked to write something from your area of education. Anybody could write, so the questions will be of global interest or general interest. So an essay, as it has a write-up that has an introduction, body, and conclusion, like a cat. A cat has a tail, a face, right? The face is the most attractive part of the cat, and it gives you an idea about what type of cat it is, right? So the cat is like the introduction of the essay, and the body is bigger than the head. It is a detailed or an explanation of what you want to say, and then there's the tail of the cat, which is the conclusion. And for writing, the important thing, many students complain that they don't get points, what to write. So we don't get points, how to generate ideas. That is a very important thing. And remember that you are not asked to give any specific knowledge about any specific topic. Anybody can think and write. So that is the nature of the IELTS essay. So thing is that you should know how to generate ideas. So here we call it brainstorming. So you have to generate ideas in your brain. You read the question and you understand the question. It is very important to understand the question, what the question asks for you to do. And then after understanding the question, you have to generate ideas, either from the rubric or your own knowledge. You get the topic already there, and then you have to develop associating with your experience and knowledge, and then you generate ideas. Then they bubble up, all the ideas bubble up in your brain, and they are there. And then you will arrange all those ideas. You may take a pen and a paper and then jot down the important points, arrange them, all the important points that you have brainstormed. In other words, this is the real beginning of your essay. So you understood, you read the question, you understood the question, and you have written up all the important points after brainstorming. You catalog it, you list it according to the importance. Sometimes you just cross some of the ideas that you think it is irrelevant, and then you're all set with, the ideas, the content of your essay. The next thing is, you have to organize your essay. As I told you, introduction, body, and conclusion. So introduction is what? Introduction just means introducing the essay to the reader. It is a bird's eye view of the whole essay and give a hint to the reader about the content of the essay. So when the content or the introduction is read, the reader understands what he's going to read further in the body. Okay, so writing a very good introduction is very important. And how to write a very good introduction? That's a very important question. So I can give you some tips. See, you are the masters of your style. Everybody has their own style. I'm not going to mess up with your style, but I'm going to give you some idea so that you can have some sort of structure or some sort of idea in your mind how to deal with all these things. So here, to write an introduction, you can come up with a background thesis plus the topic thesis. A background thesis plus topic thesis. It means, you read the question and understand the question, and then the first sentence will be a background of the question, and then the next sentence will be your response to the question. There ends your introduction. Okay, and then comes the body. It is the elaboration of your ideas, and it should have more than one paragraph. Some people, write just one big paragraph. That is not at all good. You have to divide your writing into appropriate paragraph. Paragraphing is very, very important. You have to divide your writing into paragraphs. And what is a paragraph? A paragraph is one main idea plus supporting ideas. So a paragraph contains most often one main idea plus supporting ideas with examples and illustrations. And when you start another important idea, you must write another paragraph. You understand? So in the introduction, you introduce the topic, and then you're writing the content from the brainstormed ideas in the list, and you pick up one idea and then you elaborate it, and when you come up with the next idea, you start another paragraph. So this is how you are supposed to write your body. And then comes, many times, people say, if you look at off your paragraphs and the sentences will look after them, they have problem in writing the sentences. But if you have good paragraphing, your sentences will take care of themselves. You don't need to worry about the sentences. And then we have the conclusion. And the conclusion is a summary of your arguments with the body, a suggestion or a solution, your opinion, agreement or disagreement. You can find different types of IELTS essays. So one of them is agreement and disagreement essays. And sometimes, you can give as a conclusion your opinion, whether you agree with it or whether you disagree with. And it can be a suggestion or a solution for a problem, or it can be a summary of your argument in the body. So this is what, IELTS writing task 2 is. I think, is it clear to you? Is it clear? Okay. So I haven't read the chat for some time. So there were questions regarding the reading. Okay, we'll come to it later. Okay, it says yes. Okay, let's move to the next section. Next slide. Okay, here, I can give you an example here. Learning English from an English-speaking country is the best, but not the only method. Do you agree or disagree? This is the question, or this is the topic for your essay. Learning English from an English-speaking country is the best, but not the only method. Do you agree or disagree? This is a question for writing task 2. So you have to read the question and you have to understand. What did you understand here? That's very important. So what did you understand? You understand that English can be learned in both ways. One way is go into an English-speaking country and learn English there. And the other method is you can still stay in your own country where English is not spoken as the native language, but still you can learn. But it is not as good as learning English from the English-speaking country. This is the way you have to understand the question. Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree with this fact? So if you agree, you have to elaborate on what you agree with the question, or if you disagree, you can say that no, it is the best method is to study English in one's own country, not by going in English-speaking country. Whatever way, you have to substantiate your answer. That is important. It is not mandatory that you have to agree with the question here. You can have your own idea, your own opinion, but you should know how to substantiate your answers. You cannot simply say an opinion, right? Whatever you say, you have to substantiate, you have to back up with valid points. So look here, how can we brainstorm? Here? So learning English from an English-speaking country is the best, but not the only way to agree or disagree. So here, look at here. How to brainstorm? So here it's an agree-disagree question. So you understand that the advantages of learning English from an English-speaking country would be the disadvantages of learning English in one's own country. So I have given the ideas here. For example, here one can listen to a lot of English. So here the first column says about the advantages of learning English from an English-speaking country. I have given you them, and that's in this column about that, and in this column, learning English from one's own country. So look at these points here. One can listen to a lot of English. If you go to, for example, if you go to England and learn English, every time you listen to English, you don't listen to anything else but only English, right? And this will not be the case when you learn English in India. One can listen English only in the classroom. So you've got 2 points. One point is already here that you got, and the opposite of that is another point that also you can write in your essay. And the second thing is the teachers are native speakers. So when you learn English from native speakers, obviously it has got its own advantages. You are getting the original, the fresh from the farm, not polluted or corrected. So that is a good thing, and that will happen if you go to a native country to learn English. And this will be the opposite. Teachers are non-native speakers. So that is why, our English pronunciation is a bit problematic or deviated because our teachers are non-native speakers. So here you got 2 advantages, and the disadvantages are here. And then the disadvantages of learning English from an English-speaking country: it is expensive, and here it is cheap. And students may not adapt to the culture. That if you go to a foreign country, then maybe you have to face a lot of problems, right? Like racial discrimination and weather problems. And sometimes, they may not be friendly. The culture is different. Every morning you need to go to a temple. And the place you may go to there may not have a temple there. So all these are problems, right? And in your own country, the environment is very friendly. So the advantages here become the disadvantages. So here, when you get points, what is the outcome? This will be 1 paragraph, and this can be another paragraph. So you got 2 paragraphs. Introduction, 1 paragraph, you talk about learning English in a native country, and a 3rd paragraph, you will talk about learning English from one's own country, and then you give a conclusion, right? And I would like to say that even though learning English from an English-speaking country is the best, a moderate level of English can be achieved by learning it from other countries where English is widely used and learned. For example, India. So you have completely agreed with the topic given. So I told you about the introduction here. So introduction can be like this: background thesis plus topic thesis. You can write English has become the lingua franca of the modern world. Some prefer learning English from English-speaking countries, while some others choose their own home country. So I have given a background thesis, and then I have come up with a topic in the next sentence. We can simply paraphrase the question. So here it is. It is always good to learn a language in a country where it is spoken. However, it is not the only method to learn a language. So you simply paraphrased it. You used a different way of writing the same question, and it becomes your perfect introduction. So introduction, then body, as I told you, and then we got the conclusion, and then your essay is perfect. You will definitely get a minimum score of 7 for this. Let me see the chat. Agree, sir. Agree. English language is most used in communication path. Okay, that's nice. So this is, writing task 2, and you may come across a variety of questions. And coherence and cohesion, all of these things are important. How the ideas move from one idea to another idea, how linguistically you connect your sentences, right? Coherence and cohesion. Coherence means, how relevant your ideas. When you put together ideas, they should be connected to each other. They are known as coherence. And also, it should be cohesive. That means you should use linguistic devices or linking words to connect those ideas. So one is abstract and the other one is very concrete. That means you're using linguistic words, or linking words to connect ideas. So coherence, cohesion, and the structure of the body gives you a perfect essay. Okay, now come to speaking. This is the last but not least. Everybody is very excited to know and to attend the speaking test. So IELTS speaking test is not that problematic, in my opinion, because it's very simple. Because the only thing that we most often do is speaking English. We don't listen to English too much. We don't write and we don't read, but we speak in universities and colleges and other areas. We have to speak English. So speaking should be easy for you. So in IELTS, they assess your speaking skills in 3 different ways. The first section, second section, and the third section. The first section can be called as a warm-up session. That means, the examiner. It's a one-to-one session, one-on-one session, right? The examiner will sit like this, and you have to sit, in a chair, facing the examiner, and the examiner will ask you questions, and you have to answer the questions, and all of the recording and conversations will be recorded. You understand? And the first session, to make you very comfortable, the examiner will ask you, how was the day? What's your name? Introduce yourself. How may I call you? What's your hobby? Could you tell me about your hometown? All of these simple questions will be asked. And that also is important. Okay. The second section is a bit more important because you will be getting a card and a topic will be written on that card. And the examiner will tell you, read the topic. You can take 1 minute for preparing. After that, you have to speak for 2 minutes. Then you have to speak for 2 minutes after the preparation for 1 minute. And here it is important that, sometimes you think it is 2 minutes, it's okay, I can speak it. But when you actually speak, 2 minutes is a long time. You have to practice it yourself. 2 minutes is not a very short span of time. You have to speak and speak and speak, and you have to practice it, whether you speak for 2 minutes or not. This is called extended speech, to know whether you have got fluency in English. Okay, and the third section is an interactive session, a structured interactive session between the examiner and the student. That means the discussion will be thematically related to the card on the topic. Okay, so it is meant to test your ability to indulge in a conversation. Here I give you an example for a cue card. So here, if you look at the topic here, the place you visited where there is a lot of water. After the first session, after the warming up session, gave you this card, and the card asks you the place you visited where there is a lot of water. Okay, and the sub questions also will be there. Where it was, with whom did you go there, what kind of activities you did there. So your answer must cover all these 3 questions, that is very, very important. If you miss any of these questions, that may affect your score. So it may not be in order. Sometimes people answer only these questions and will be satisfied with that. No, you have to give a chunk of discourse. You have to answer that, and your answer must contain or answers for all these 3 questions. You understand? It's like giving you to a speech on a topic. And then after this session, either the examiner will stop you when you exceed 2 minutes, or when the examiner is satisfied, the examiner may interrupt you and then go to the next session, the structured discussion. For example, here, the examiner may ask you questions like, what is the importance of water? How can we control water loss? What will happen if rainy season continues for 3 days? So here, such questions will be asked to elicit more from you, so that the examiner can evaluate your ability in indulging in a complicated discussion. This is one example. Another example for a cue card is like, form of transport you like, what is it, how often you use it, advantages and disadvantages of using it. It will be followed by questions like this: which form of transport people like more, why, what do you think the cheapest mode of transportation, do you think that traveling is better for health, which one is the most dangerous mode of transportation, etc. So this is how speaking is done. And as I told you, speaking can be made very effective provided you speak in a very natural way. Like, well, these are, we can call them like, discourse markers. Like, well, before telling an opinion, what do you think about which form of transport people like? Well, you started your answers thinking about it, but using the well will give you some time for thinking the answers. Well, the transport form I like is water transport because it is cheap. See, because it is cheap, and also you can enjoy the beauty of nature. You can extend your answers like that. Okay, so how well you, organize your essay, how well you use, cohesion and coherence in your speech, and how natural you appear to the examiner, and don't cram and answers, don't mug up the answers, go and from the books. Sometimes they may be helpful in getting some vocabulary, but I had a student, who mugged up all the answers, and if you speak to them from the common questions, she would answer all the questions, but if you ask different questions, she cannot speak anything. So you should not do that. You have to practice speaking English in a very natural way, and you have to be a master of yourself in eliciting, in developing your own way of articulating the given questions. So this is how speaking, it may be from 10 to 13 minutes, and that will be over. So this is IELTS in general: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And then after this, your proficiency will be evaluated and tested, and you will be given a score out of 9. And if you are very expert user, so here how they calculate it. Your band score 9 or 8.5. If you get, you are an expert user of English, you have a fully operational command of the language. Your use of English is appropriate, accurate, and fluent, and you show complete understanding. If you get 8.5, no, nothing to say. They'll give you 8.5 if your English is very good. You answered all the 40 questions or 39 questions in both listening and reading, and your writing is perfect. You have come up with all the valid points, and you have shown your coherence and cohesion and everything. And you're speaking good pronunciation. Pronunciation is also important. We don't have time to talk much about pronunciation. Maybe some other day. So everything was perfect, and you will get either an 8.5 or a 9, and you will become an expert user of English. And your passport to America, Canada, USA, New Zealand, or Australia, for any other country for that matter, is ready in your hands. Okay, no problem with that. And then you have 7, 7.5, to 8. 7.5 to 8, you are a very good user, and 7, you are a good user. And common according to CEFR, you will be graded as C2 and C1. I mean, your proficiency level is evaluated like that. And then 5.5, 6.5, you are a competent user. You come under common European framework. And then here, if it is 4.55, you are a modest user. And 1, 2, 3, limited user, 2 extremely limited user, and 1 intermediate user. So this is how IELTS evaluates your English proficiency. So I wish you a very happy and successful journey through the IELTS and get your dreams accomplished to work, either to work or study or settle in any of these English-speaking countries. Thank you very much for listening to me. I was given 1 hour, 10 minutes, and I have covered that time. And now, if you have any important questions, we can deal with the questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for the nice presentation. Now is the time for the interactions. The participants can give in your questions. You can clarify anything you want to ask, sir. He'll be ready to help you out. You can post your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask questions.
Mute to count number ready.
There are a few questions in the chat box.
Chat box can unmute.
You can unmute yourself and ask questions. The participants, that facility has been enabled.
The questions are on the line.
Sir, there are some questions in the chat box, sir. How to communicate and different paths to be excellent own expression in front of people. The question is not clear. Maybe they can speak. Chandan Kumar.
I haven't got the question clearly. I can read. Can you explain the origination of workshop? Why the worship has been introduced in research? I didn't understand the question.
Somebody has raised.
Can you speak or be more audible? Workshop, not worship. But what is the question here? How to make it fluently? Good academy for preparation of IELTS. Fluence is very important, and to be fluent, Rome is not built in a day, right?
Your question should be clear. Participants, this is the time for the interaction. Make use of the opportunity and raise your questions so that you can clarify yourself regarding any doubts you have.
So could you please give us the address whom to contact, sir, for learning this English speaking countries institute in Hyderabad? I'm Dr. Beena from Hyderabad. Been Annamalai University a student for the past few years. Could you please throw light on this? Pillai sir, namaste. Pillai sir, namaste. Hello.
Just hold on for a while.
Pillai sir, may I have your contact number? I've got quite a lot of doubts. I wish to come back to you. Kindly support me, sir.
Okay. We will forward the question to this resource person and we will come back to you.
Sir, very happy new year, Pillai sir. I wish to have your contact number for further progress. I wish to go abroad. So I request to share your contact number so that I can come back to you. Kindly help me.
Sir is now online. Now he will clarify all your doubts.
I'm sorry because the power went off and I have to connect with my phone now.
Pillai sir, namaste.
So you can hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Namaste.
I'm Dr. Beena from Hyderabad, from Indian Overseas Bank as manager.
Okay.
Sir, I wish to speak to you in a person, sir. I wish to speak to you because I have so many doubts regarding this. Kindly let me have your contact your number and your address. Kindly.
Okay, definitely. I'll share you my WhatsApp number in the box.
I request you to kindly answer my questions at a later date, sir.
Definitely, no problem, madam.
Please. I'm so grateful to you, sir. I wish you a very happy life.
You're welcome, ma'am.
You may note down my number. If I'm not able to reach you, please feel free to call me, sir. 96424. I request you to kindly.
Definitely.
424-35689.
Okay,
because
definitely.
I'm unable to reach. I do not know why. 96424. 35689.
Madam, you can take my number and save this number. I have given in the chat box.
Sir, could you please read
Please
out?
have my number. I have
Sir, I'm not able to see.
8281-654.
8281.
654.
654.
654. 820.
820. I repeat, sir.
Yeah. 8281.
Yeah. 654. 820.
Yes.
Am I right, sir?
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. 8281-654-820. You're right.
Sir, where are you, sir? Where are you?
I'm in Tanzania, ma'am. I'm in a university working here.
Pardon me, sir?
So how to speak? Sorry. Okay, here I have a question in the chat box. How to speak English without any fear? Don't speaking English or speaking Tamil or speaking any other language for that matter doesn't need any sort of fear. Fear and language use is not directly connected. It may be connected with your the situation. For example, you can speak Tamil in a very nice way, but if you go to an interview and still when you speak Tamil, still you have problem, right? You have fear. So fear in that matter, it's quite okay. It happens to everyone. But here, you do it even with fear. That is more important. And in the case of English, English is a foreign language, and many times you may be overconscious about your grammar. Oh my God, grammar, whether to use go, or whether to use goes, whether to use have down, or whether to use did. Don't think about all those matter. Language is quite natural. Language is quite natural, and as you speak on, all the grammatical errors will be vanished.
Dear participants, I think there are some issues.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Is he back, man?
They can unmute actually and the option we can speak.
Okay. இப்போ normal close பண்ணிடலாமா?
Problem with, so don't worry about your fear. Don't fear about your fear. Fear is quite natural. Anything doing fear, it's good because you are more conscious about it. But you need to have more perseverance. You have to work hard, practice hard, and then you can come up as a very fluent speaker. Don't worry about it.
Thank you so much, sir. Pillai, sir. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sir, your address I'm not able to view because of some technical issue in my mobile. Could you just read out your address? Possible?
Okay, don't worry. I will be displaying it on my screen. Just a moment, hold on. I will just type so any other questions?
Which academy would you suggest for taking up this IELTS coaching?
Sorry?
Which academy would you suggest take up IELTS coaching?
I can't personally suggest you any academy because, I don't know about the academy that you have in your mind. So I would like to say that if you have a very good teacher who is proficient in English and who is familiar with the IELTS, that would be the best thing. So academy, the teachers may change. You don't get the right teacher. Sometimes you may get the right teacher. But thing is that, you have to get a very good teacher, and you have to constantly practice with good materials. That is the thing that, you have a level of English and you have to improve your English, and you should get the right assistance. Okay. So any academy for that matter, sometimes, students go to some academy, they don't get the score, and they go to another academy, they get the score. And sometimes the students in that academy may not get the scores. It happens. So only thing is that you believe in yourself, whichever academy you go, and practice yourself and understand, evaluate, assess yourself. You are the best teacher and best evaluate for you. The assistance you may get from the academy, but I can't give you any suggestion regarding the best academy or a better academy that you can choose.
Sir, shall we end the session, sir? With your permission?
Yeah,
Sachi, sir?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you very much. Karthik sir, Pravina madam, Sailila madam, and Tanmay Sheila Selvi, Tamil Selvi madam, all the 11 faculty members and research scholars and students and those who have patiently listened to my lecture. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, especially Karthik sir. Thank you very much, sir, for having me in the session. And I'm happy to read your comments that you have got some good information about the test. So thank you very much once again.
Sir, from my side, I would like to thank you, sir. Just give me a few minutes.
Yes.
Sanjeev Krishna Pillai in his lecture on IELTS started with what is IELTS and the 4 components of IELTS, that is listening, reading, writing, and speaking, time allotted for testing each skill, the maximum marks that has been allotted for these skills. And he has also stressed about the academic content and the video content, how to develop the English listening skill through listening to CNN and BBC, and how to write an essay with the starting of introduction, then body, and with the conclusion. And he has also explained the skills with excellent examples, easy to understand by all of us. The participants' remarks like, "This is an excellent session, highly informative, very useful," shows that the participants were highly benefited by your lecture, sir. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and sharing your expertise with us. We are very fortunate to listen to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
The feedback link has been sent to you. The participants, you can fill the feedback link so that we can have the attendance of the first session. Please, I request all the participants to come on to the video so that we have a group photograph. The participants, please unmute your video so that we'll have a group photograph. Including the resource person, sir. An announcement for the participants. The second session will start at 2 o'clock. You can log into it by 1:45. Okay, sorry, by 2:15 you can log in. The session starts at 2:30. Please fill in the feedback link and send it. Thank you very much.
YouTube off பண்ணி